Let's take you back to our top story now. Pupils and staff at Mondeor High are trying to come to terms with the murder of a grade 11 pupil there yesterday. There's been an increase in violence at schools. So the question again we're asking is, what conversations are police and education ministries having about school safety? And let's take you back to Lindokuhle Xulu, who is live with the Minister of Police, Bheki Cele. Lindo, the Minister held a briefing. What was that briefing about? And did he have anything to say about the increasing issue of violence at schools?
Well, Xulu, I'll shy away from what that briefing was about. My colleague Masego would be better equipped to answer those questions, but more so on what you're asking about what is happening in schools. That is something we are trying to put to the Minister, particularly about the conversations that are being had behind the scenes of policing in schools. How can South African Police Services intervene? And I'm just going to go straight to it and shoot from the hip here. Minister, thank you so much for joining us. But one thing really that's playing in everyone's minds, what are the conversations that are being had with the Department of Education nationally about what is happening in schools?
Well, thanks. Let's start by saying, as South African police ourselves are worried with the situation that is happening at school, sometimes outside the school, as it happened in Limpopo. When you begin to arrest the 13-year-olds, it must be really worrying. And definitely that cannot be the police matter alone to arrest the 13 years. Maybe it needs to be asked, where are the parents? Where are other structures, social development, education itself? But having said that, as a South African police, we are trying to have a serious outreach to the young people of South Africa. Hence, we're having a school safety program. Hence, we're having a young desk and all that, because remember, they're at school, they are young, but besides, they still mix with young people outside. The Commissioner has led on that, on those programs, but also the better working relationships with schools is advanced, especially in Western Cape. I have some little bit of flu.
That's okay, take your time.
Especially in Western Cape, where we have reached a situation where there are police per school. We are also working that on the national, so that the school is able to call on a particular police official rather than calling on the station. And so that will give a better relationship, you know the face you're talking to, and the better response. But the talking together with the basic Department of Education is at all levels, in provinces and at the national. For instance, personally, I have had several meetings with the National Minister of Basic Education, and how do we think we'll do things. So it's a matter that worry all of us, and the matter that all of us we must respond to.
Minister, beyond the conversations, some people believe that police visibility should be one of the things that is implemented to curb this violent outbreak that we see from our schools. Is it something that we are considering here? Are we going to see police vans in schools?
Definitely, we'll have to discuss on those matters. It's like the call that have been made of sending the army in the townships. We're not going to convert our townships to military zones. Like schools, they cannot be converted to crime scenes. So we must respond in a better way. Just imagine when Kichimi van is calling and all the time.
But Minister, you would understand that drastic measures, drastic situations require drastic measures.
Drastic measures will be the response, we'll be talking about it, and they must be calculated and measured. I'm saying we are not going to wake up at the next morning and make schools the crime scenes when they're not crime scenes. But when police are put in a way of responding quick, as it happened at Edenvale, police responded quickly. We put those mechanisms, but you don't come and overwhelm students with your uniform, with your police vans and all that. But the better working relationships, that's one thing that we have raised with some schools. For instance, if you are going to put the very expensive equipment at school, police should know, and so that we have some kind of an eye on that, as it happens in one school in Gauteng where they took the whole equipment and all that. But from the South African police, I don't think we are ready to convert the schools to crime scenes where you find the police presence permanent and all that. But working and responding quick, those are the things we need to work, and in a calculated and measured way.
Very quickly, one would say that responding quickly is the aftermath. It's when there's a pupil lying on the ground and gasping for air, dying on the floor. That's responding. It's more reactive than proactive. But in terms of proactiveness from the police's side, what could we expect? What are the conversations that are being had around that?
I did say this in Limpopo, and I want to repeat. The call seems to be wrong to say everything is the police. There are several areas that we need to make a call. Other major call that must be made here are parents. SGPs must be part of the proper schooling and the safety. Education department has a security budget, education department, and the police are additional in working with those people. The first basic line, especially at the primary school, as many problems are happening there, let's make a call to the parents. Let's make a call to the society. Let's make a call to the education. Let's make a call to the police. All those people to come together. And there are no criminals at school for taking those resources and put them there. But I agree, there must be a response when the criminal activity is without overwhelming the education situation and make it not conducive for educating our kids. Remember, students, schools, and teachers make the situation. Police are not mentioned to go to schools and be part of permanence there. But working together, indeed, we are available for that and ready for it.
I am going to, against my better judgment, put it to you that there is a certain court appearance happening today of a McBride. But just your expectations and your hopes around that court proceeding.
Well, you can go alone and attempt the devil on that one. I'm not part of it.
All right, thank you so much. That is Minister of Police, General Bheki Cele, just taking us through some of the conversations that they're having in the background, of course, because of this issue of school safety. But we will be just probing a bit further and trying to find out what exactly the cause of the problem is. But at this stage, it seems that those conversations might be the key, answer as to how, we curb such incidents, such violent incidents at schools.
Lindokuhle Xulu, thank you very much for that update. Thanks indeed. He was in conversation with the Police Minister, Bheki Cele.